Assalamu alaikum guys. In this video I'm going to show you how you can use this Laravel paper payments package to process payment using the credit card and the express checkout with PayPal. So the first things first, so let's create new Laravel application. I'm going to use the Laravel installer. In this case, Laravel new, let's call it PayPal. It may take a few time to set up a new application. Alright, as you can see, the application setup is done. So now we can switch to the folder. And I have brand new Laravel application 5 version. Let's make sure which version. It's 5.5.19. Okay, let's generate new key. Key generate as we do with any new Laravel application. Key generated. Now I'm going to switch to the package and go through the doc here, through the installation. I'm going to require the package. So let's open this in a Sublime. So within the composer, under the required object, I'm going to require the package here. Then I would just run a composer update to start downloading the package from GitHub. Down to the providers array, and let's add our service provider here. We can do the same thing for the alias. Go down, and here we go. Now let's just publish the configuration file that comes with the package. So artisan, I think I get something on. Okay, nice. Okay, great. So now we have a new file added to the config folder. So if we go to the text editor under the config, we have the PayPal payment file is just added. At this point, we only require the client ID and the client secret because we will going to use the sandbox test for testing. But when you go live, you just switch this to the live. And we're done. Here we have the connection timeout. By default, it's going to be 30 seconds. The log, when you have the log enabled, so at this, the file name will be paper log. So with the log enabled, it comes by default enabled. So when you run anything that's going to run the process to hit the people API, a new file will be published here called people.log. And here we have the log level fine, and we have four levels: fine, info, warn, and error. So for the time being, I'm fine with using the fine level. So the only remaining thing that I need to add, application client ID and the PayPal client secret. So the client secret and the client ID. And you can get those tokens from your PayPal account. So PayPal developer. So under my account, under my apps and credentials. Well, first I need to log in, sorry. So I'm going to log in using my PayPal account. Okay, so under the My Apps credentials here, you click that. So for my case, I already have an app called PayPal Demo, so I can remove that. So just to give you an idea, I'm going to remove that entirely and start over. Okay, so I'm going to create a new app. I'm going to call it, for example, let's go with PayPal Demo, the same thing as we had before. Create the app. Can't just anything. Yeah, okay. So here's the client ID. I'll copy that. Go right here. So I'm going to use the environment PayPal client ID. So I would just come here and add a new variable PayPal client ID and pass that here. Then the secret, which is this one. I'm going to remove this app just after this video, so I'm not going to hide those tokens from you. Also, what I have the PayPal client secret. Client secret. And let's do this. Okay, great. So client ID, just make sure it's the same as the one we have in the configuration file. Okay, looks good. So now I think that's it. We only need that. So now let's go back to the package itself and let's pick something from the sample code I have here. So let's build this controller, artisan make controller, call it people controller. It's done. Can go here, people controller. Now I'm gonna go to the web file and just have a route for that. In real time, you will have this using a post request instead of get, I think. Call it payment, for example. Payments with credit card. It's good. And that's going to point to PayPal. I'm going to use the same function I have here called pay with credit card. And another one that would be used with PayPal. Pay with PayPal, for example. Let's get rid of. Okay, let's leave it. That's gonna hurt. Okay, so I think that's it. I only need to have those functions. So I'm gonna copy the entire code here. Okay, good. So here, this is we just build the shipping address to where when the customer pay our items. So if it is a shipping, just in the case this is not a service, it is a real product and you need to ship it and you need to ship the product to the customer. So you require the shipping address. Then you create the credit card. You have the credit card information. In this case, we're just using some testing credit cards. We create the funding instrument here and we assign the credit card. Then the really most important part is here. We create the payer and we set the payment method. So we're going to use credit card. So we just type credit card here. Then those are the items. In this example, I'm going to use 2 items here. Then we build the item list and we set the items, the item 1. You can have any number of items actually. So it's never mind. Then we set the shipping address. After that, we create the payment details like shipping and tax and the subtotal and stuff like that. Also, just a plus, all this, if you go to the PayPal doc, I think you will get full information about those details. Then we build the amount object. We see the total that will be paid, which is $20 in this case. And also we set the details object that's going to be within the amount. Also that we build the transaction by setting the amount and the items list, some description for your product. And here we say the invoice. I'm just generating a unique ID for the invoice, so it's unique. Then we create the payment object and we set the intent to sales, we set the payer, we set the transaction, and here we're just going to create the payment and we pass in the API context. So then we execute the payment and after that we'll just return, just casting the payment object to an array and then we convert that to a JSON response so we can see it together in the browser. So let's hit this endpoint and see what's going to happen. First, I'm going to start a server here. Artisan serve. Oops. Serve. Okay. Now I'm going to hit this. Payment. Oh gosh, I have a problem. Oh yeah. I need to import the facade call. By the way, if you are not fan of using the facade calls, you just resolve the instance using the key we have here, the alias. It's called PayPal payments, and you can then assign this to a variable in your constructor and just then call those method directly in the property where will be the instance assigned to. So this is just an add-on. So let's import that in the top and try again. Okay, great. As you can see, we get a response from the PayPal API, and you have all the information about the payment you have just created. So, and you can play around with this data and do whatever you want within it. That's it for the processing payment using the credit card. Now I'm going to switch to use the PayPal Express checkout. So I'm going to do the same thing. I already have here a sample that you can use in your case. I'm gonna copy it entire function. It's called pay with PayPal, and go down here and pass that function in here. It's called pay with PayPal. Let's go to the weave and make sure it's the same. So, okay, let me go through this. Okay, pay with PayPal function. So you have the same thing here. You see the shipping address. This is not required for the PayPal Express checkout. I think it's won't be needed because maybe you can just use the shipping address you get from the user, because the customer is going to use his PayPal account, so you can get the shipping address from his account there. Anyways, this is an option. You can use it too here if you want. So in this case, you don't need to create any credit card or such thing. So you only set up the payer, and you set the payment method to PayPal. Then you start building the items, which is the products, and then you assign those products to the items list, then create the details as we said before, related such shipping and stuff, the amount, and also the transaction, and set those amount and item list and the description and unique ID for the invoice. And here this is something new. So when the payment actually is succeed, because when your client will be redirected to PayPal and click to confirm the payment, so you need somewhere to redirect him. So I have here, it's going to be redirected to this route. So let's build this route in the case everything goes correctly. So I will build this actually here, and to return this is succeed. And other route, what is it? PayPal fails. In the case it fails. Okay, fails. Okay, good. Let's go back here. So now when we get the response, the same thing, I only added this approval URL, so for the user to approve the payment. So when you click that, he will be redirected to approve and confirm the payment. After the payment is confirmed, it will be redirected back to either success or fails endpoint. So let's try that together. This is the endpoint. It's with people actually. That's it. So let's go back here. Let's see. Let's hit this route. Okay, here we have a transaction now. So here is the approval link. You see this link? So when I click this link, I will confirm the payment actually. So I'm gonna click it. Will take me to redirect to the PayPal. So let's use I don't know which one. Is this one working? So those are test accounts actually that I have with my Sandbox account. I'm not sure if this is still working. Okay, this one seems working. So we'll continue. And as you can see, the payment is done, and we hit back to the route just to see that the payment succeeded. So that's it for this video. I hope you are enjoyed seeing it, guys. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment below the video, and I'm gonna upload this repository to my GitHub account so you can download the code if you want. So bye bye.